Good afternoon and welcome to everybody. Thank you for making the time to be here today. My name is Vineet Ram. I'm the Vice President for Global Strategic Marketing at Panduit.
It all starts here, the epicenter of convergence, the data center. Panduit UPI-based solutions leverage state-of-the-art design practices you need to take your data center to the next level. Panduit UPI-based designs balance site-specific infrastructure technologies with effective capacity planning using products, tools, and global business partners for an effective, consolidated, and holistic approach towards data center design. The UPI vision supports IT and facilities management collaboration, transforming your physical infrastructure into a powerful strategic business asset, where network, compute, and storage are connected and optimized. Optimizing the data center is about efficiency, energy management, consolidation, virtualization, and automation. Panduit's unified physical infrastructure is making convergence work for greater agility, security, and availability in the data center, and ultimately for the enterprise. Panduit UPI, building a smarter, unified business foundation.
Okay, so based on that video, you probably know, have a little perspective of who Panduit is. What we do is we are in the physical infrastructure business. So what we do is we essentially help to bring together a lot of the different logical systems. We provide a foundation to deploy a variety of power, control, compute, communication, security systems across multiple customer environments. And we do that in a pretty smart and intelligent manner to help provide a very solid business foundation. So you heard this term, unified physical infrastructure. A real quick background on what we mean when we talk about this unified physical infrastructure. The world today, as you've been hearing the last couple of days in this conference and other venues, is becoming very much an information-based economy. Real-time information, right, is being leveraged by businesses in multiple different industries to gain competitive advantage, to delight the customer, to reduce their costs, become more compliant, become more global, right? Lots of reasons to do that. A lot of it, the heart of this is real-time information. People want to have information in real time, want to be mobile with the information, want to access it from anywhere, and that's being leveraged by enterprises in a number of different ways. What's really happening is that's imposing a lot of different requirements on the infrastructure itself across multiple environments. As an example, data centers are becoming mission-critical data factories that are running very critical business workloads that can be a source of competitive differentiation, significant employee productivity inside the organization. The factories, for people who are in the manufacturing industry, what's really happening is real-time information is being supplied from the factory upstream, right, through the entire sort of delivery chain or supply chain to deliver efficiencies and economies, which can be a competitive advantage as well. The same thing is happening in the building environment as well, where all these different systems are becoming networked together, right, to reduce cost and improve the customer experience. So really what's really happening is what we talk about as the 5 types of systems in the infrastructure: power, control, compute, communication, security. These systems have traditionally been a silo environment. Because of all the business benefits that are possible, that's being driven today, these systems are being forced to come together. They're forced to converge or really collaborate and communicate from a systems perspective. So what does that have to do with the physical infrastructure, right? Because of all these requirements imposed in these systems, it makes the physical foundation a lot more important. How these systems are brought together, how they're connected, how they're managed, and how they're automated become extremely important now in light of what's being required of these different systems. And that's really what Panduit talks about. Is it requires a different approach. It requires a more unified, integrated, holistic approach to the physical infrastructure in terms of how we connect, manage, and automate them. And that's really what we use as a guiding principle to develop our solutions that enable our customers to realize significant value. What we've really been doing over the last year and a half is we've been talking about how these 5 types of systems need to evolve and how they are supported from the physical foundation needs to evolve. So really the first phase we talk about is the align phase, which is really from an architectural perspective. How do we take this logical infrastructure architecture, it could be from a network perspective, storage perspective, server perspective, to the physical infrastructure, right? How do we start aligning that? That's really the first phase of the evolution here. The next phase is On the Converge side, so start using intelligent devices and software to start automating them, to bring them together, to make them better managed. And eventually, the Converge phase is about optimization, achieving significant benefits, and deeper level of automation through policy-based management. So really, what Panduit has is sort of a roadmap from the physical foundation level to support the convergence of these systems with a whole portfolio of capability, which we'll talk to you about a little bit later today as we go along. Now, why is this whole approach important, right? Traditionally, the physical infrastructure has been an afterthought. People didn't really think it was a big deal. You could go off, go do all your structured cabling, all of your cabinetry, all your pathways, and somebody in facilities could do all that, while somebody in the IT department could go deploy next generation infrastructure, right? And they didn't really have to talk to each other. Why is it becoming very important today that they actually have a constructive dialogue together, and why we start having this collaborative activity? It's because these kinds of challenges, power, cooling, speed, space, performance, all of these are complex cross-functional challenges that cannot be solved in a silo environment. They also cannot be solved just by having a much better product. Products are important, right? High quality, high functionality is important, but how you put them together is also extremely important. We would argue that the dimensions of innovation are actually changing. The innovation from a product perspective is not only functionality from a singular silo perspective, but how does the product functionality interact with other different products across the physical infrastructure, and how is all that being put together in a smarter manner? That's where the opportunity is. And that's really why it becomes extremely important. The same approach holds good, whether you're talking about a data center or IT enterprise, whether you're talking about a factory environment with industrial automation moving forward, or whether you're talking about a building environment where all these things are coming together, right? The same challenges are there, and they got to be approached with a more cross-functional approach, which is more holistic and integrated, and that's really why this is extremely important for us now. So all the technologies you heard about, whether they be virtualization, right, whether they be cloud computing, all the kind of things that need to get done, or whether it be even consolidation. When you consolidation systems, these kinds of challenges become even more pronounced. And that's why, yes, we can achieve those efficiencies through improved resource allocation, but we need to be smarter in how we architect the physical foundation as well in doing this. So we've been working closely with a lot of leaders in the industry. So we've been working closely with our partners at Cisco, IBM, a variety of other companies to take this approach from a unified physical infrastructure-based approach. And part of this has also been to take a little bit of education and understanding on why is the physical infrastructure a lot more relevant. And we've been getting a lot of help from key leaders in the industry. One example here is working with Gartner, talking about why the physical layer is relevant, specifically addressing challenges around consolidation, virtualization from a networking perspective. And you can see here we've been collaborating with key leaders at Cisco, consultants in the industry, as well as people at Gartner, and lead customer here was the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, who's another important customer of Panduit. Another example from a buildings environment perspective, the North Carolina Research Group with a state-of-the-art facility with the next generation architecture in the data center. And this is something else that Panduit did with collaborating with a lot of key leaders in the industry, go deploy a much more holistic, unified approach, and take the message out that that's the kind of approach required now to be successful. And similarly, from a software perspective as well, again, the idea of this integration, bringing things together, it's not just from a sort of a mechanical or a physical product perspective. It also ties back to software and systems as well. So there again, the integration to what's happening, the ability to monitor, to manage the physical infrastructure, and tie that back to the logical architecture becomes extremely important, and we've been doing that as well. And really, this story on unified physical infrastructure ties very closely with what the other leaders in the industry are talking about. So as you see here a lot from Cisco around unified fabric and unified computing systems. Similarly, you're hearing a lot from IBM about dynamic infrastructure and how it enables a smarter planet. Other leaders in the factory automation space like Rockwell Automation talking about manufacturing convergence. You see, this is again, a lot of those sort of trends and activities are to leverage the power of improved convergence and delivering more, doing more with less, a lot of good technology activity, but that assumes a fundamental business foundation in terms of having the physical infrastructure that's unified, integrated, and holistic, and that's exactly where Panduit comes in. It's in key, we are a key enabler to the realization of a lot of those next generation infrastructure architectures that are being delivered to deliver improved efficiencies and effectiveness inside the environment.